Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your support. So welcome to first 2021 perfume declutter video. There are 12 perfumes that I've decluttered recently. I don't have the bottles with me. I have some of them upstairs, but I don't even bother. So the first one is, it's going to be a surprise because this perfume is featured in my best discovery of 2021. And I still stand by my opinion. It's just that I have another perfume that smells just like it. And it is Lush I'm Home. So they both smell pretty similar. Like I said, they both are very strong coffee dominant with vanilla dry down, except that one has cardamom and so it's like cardamom, vanilla, and burnt coffee. And I'm Home, it's like burnt coffee, vanilla, and cacao, a little bit of cacao. Between the two, which one I prefer? I like them both. I actually personally prefer cardamom coffee. The dry down of cardamom coffee is a typical cardamom vanilla perfume. Like think of the dry down of Lunfeline at coffee and sweetness and sourness, the coffee sour. And the dry down of I'm Home, think of like Replica by the Fireplace type of vanilla, like ambery vanilla sweet with cacao and coffee. I love them both. They both smell pretty close to another. If you're a collector, I think maybe you would want both because they both are amazing. But I'm Home, I think cardamom coffee is better, but my I'm Home bottle is leaking, so I don't want both. I can only pick one, so I'm keeping the one that has an issue with the bottle, and because of that, I'm decluttering my cardamom coffee. The cardamom coffee is really, really amazing. But they both have this burn coffee. If you have Kerosene follow, they have the same vibe, that like burn coffee. Yeah, this one's pretty similar to Kerosene follow, to be honest. Yeah, it's like a burn coffee and Replica by the Fireplace. This one's similar too. This one's ambery vanilla with burn coffee. This one's more linear, whereas Kerosene follow does changes over time. Well, I have a video about Kerosene follow. If you're curious, you could watch it. But yeah, I love, love, love this too. This one, I'm Home in cardamom coffee. But because this bottle's leaking, like, there's no way I could ship this if I were to sell it. It's just because it's leaking. So yeah, because of that, I'm decluttering that one. So simple. So the next one that I am decluttering is Kerosene Unknown Pleasure. I really, really love it. The opening is a little bit harsh. There's an aromatic lemon in the opening, and as it dries down, it becomes this like amazing lemon coconut cookie, which I adore. But to me, it is pretty darn similar to. All right, so the reason why I declutter Kerosene Unknown Pleasure, because to me, Kerosene Unknown Pleasure, it's like an aromatic coconut cookie version of Lyra. And I already have Lyra, which is lemon sponge cake. So they both have similar lemony vibe. I know that they're not really comparable because they're different. I just don't gravitate towards using that one because the opening, the lemon is a little bit too aromatic. It's a little bit too harsh for me. And the dry down of Kerosene Unknown Pleasure, which is this gorgeous coconut cookie, I could get that in Serge Lutens Un Bois Vanille. So yeah, I guess I could get that craving of coconut cookie from Un Bois Vanille, and I get craving of that lemon from Lyra. So because of that, I decided to declutter that one and keep this too. Alright, so the third one that I'm decluttering is Christian Dior Holy Peony. I think that Holy Peony is like one of the best Christian Dior, and I still believe that. Now, the reason why I'm decluttering that is because I realized that during winter or right now, where I'm in the mood of decluttering, the Peony is very strong. It's a little bit too harsh for me. It has that scratchiness, like a blackcurrant scratchiness. Peony and the overall accord of Holly Peony, it's a little bit sour because it has that rose and berries with Peony. And the rose and berries and vanilla, it's like also similar to Delina Exclusive. So I just am gonna keep Delina Exclusive, and you know, Holly Peony is like the Peony version of Delina Exclusive in my opinion. It's not exactly the same, but think of it that way. Like the sourness come from berry, and the sourness here come from maybe rhubarb. I don't know if there's a rhubarb in Delina Exclusive. And there's rose in both of them. The difference is that one has Peony, scratchy Peony, and this one has oud. So I have to pick one, and I'm picking my Delina Exclusive. And number 4, a perfume that I adore, but I decided to declutter, is Royal Crown Isabella. There is a reason why I declutter Royal Crown Isabella, even though I absolutely adore it. So I have a Royal Crown Tenebra. This is a gorgeous green tuberose in the opening. And I don't like green tuberose. I absolutely detest green tuberose. I like Carolina Herrera tuberose, Carolina Herrera sandal ruby, even cardinal flower. To me, it's a little bit too green for my liking. Like Kilian, Good Girl Gone Bad. I don't really like those green tuberose, like Mancera Wild Python. They're a little bit too green for me. This one has a tiny bit of green tuberose in here, but as it's drying down, it's more like a warm musk and tuberose. So it smells like how your skin would smell like. This one smells so good. I don't have the cap, and this bottle is also leaking. Isabella has similar DNA as Tenebra because they both are tuberose. But that one has rose and that one has rum. So essentially, Isabella came up like a powdery, vintagey, Smarty Candies version of Kilian Women in Gold, which I adore. So that like woody, vanilla, rose, but in the candied powder form, like in a powder candy form. So which is absolutely adorable, and I love it. The problem is that during winter, that vintage vibe gets even stronger. It gets that soapy. It becomes that vintagey. It turns soapier than I would like, and I thought it smells pretty similar. Well, not similar. Like it has the same DNA as Tenebra because they're from the same company. And that one is a rose version of this. So I figured, you know what? I don't really reach for it, so I declutter it. But I do adore it, and I do recommend it. But you must like vintagey perfume vibe though. Like, you know, Kilian Good Girl. Kilian Women in Gold also has vintagey vibe. Yeah, so is Royal Crown Isabella. They both have a very strong, like vintagey, powdery, woody, rose, vanillic vibe. So that one's gone. The next one that I decluttered is Dior Poison Girl EDP. I actually really, really adore it, but the licorice, I'm realizing that number one, I'm not a fruity perfume type of person. Like I don't really gravitate towards using fruity. I like gourmand or floriental type of gourmand. Now I adore Hypnotic Poison, and I also adore Poison Girl, but it's my least favorite out of the two that I own. So yeah, That one lasts forever. It's strong. It smells amazing. It projects beautifully, leaves beautiful sillage. It's just that I don't gravitate towards using it. The licorice, sometimes the tonka come forward, which I adore and love, but sometimes the licorice comes even stronger. So I don't like it when the licorice gets really aggressive. But yeah, I adore it. But that one has left my perfume collection. Number 6 is Armani Sea Fiori. Now I actually just sold it today. I actually really adore it, but I've realized that I'm not a big fan of neroli, and the whole accord of Armani Sea Fiori, it reminds me so much of Safanat. So I'm keeping Safanat and getting rid of Sea Fiori, even though it is discontinued. So if you want to get it before the price goes up, you should. I just chose to pick one, and I much prefer Safanat compared to Sea Fiori. The next one that I've decluttered is Tom Ford Jasmine Rouge. I actually don't have a full bottle. This is a pocket perfume. I decided to clean up my pocket perfume as well. Tom Ford Jasmine Rouge is this toothbrush indolic jasmine that has this powdery jasmine in the dry down. First time I smell it, it's like love at first sniff. And then depending on the weather and the situations of my nose or hormones or weather, it changes. So it could come up as very toothbrush indolic type of jasmine. Sometimes it comes across as like this high class intoxicating jasmine, but sometimes it's also a bit too much powdery jasmine that I don't like. But yeah, so that one's out. Number 8, Greedy from Dior. This one, I don't even like it at all, you guys. Greedy is not me. It's a floral patchouli. It's like rose and patchouli, but mainly it's watered down patchouli. So I don't really like Greedy. That one's out the door. I know that it's so popular, and the description is right. It's like, it smells like a French lady that's high class, but you know, that French lady used to wear Miss Dior EDP type of perfume person, you know. She likes that floral, rose, fruit, patchouli type of scent. So yeah, if you like Miss Dior, you are going to love Greedy, but it's not sweet. It's like a more mature version of Christian Dior, Miss Dior. So number 9, the perfume that I decluttered is Micallef Note Vanille. It is actually, it breaks my heart that I am letting that one go. The reason is because I still recommend that, and a lot of people likes it, and I absolutely agree with it. Now, the thing is, Note Vanille, like I've mentioned in my video before, is like a child between Jessica Simpson Fancy and Kilian Black Phantom. It has that like dried fruits, vanilla type of scent. So when I'm in the mood of something fruity, I go for Jessica Simpson Fancy. If I'm in the mood of that DNA, make it slightly more, you know, higher class, I go for Mon Parfum Cristal. And when I want something like more masculine leaning or unisex leaning and more sexier, I go for Black Phantom. So when I wear Note Vanille, I don't know where that would fall under. I think if you live in a place where fall, or like, you know, somewhere in the north where the weather is not as hot as where I live right here in the south, you're going to enjoy Note Vanille a lot more than I do, you know. You will have the time and the place, and it's more appropriate. But here in the South, it's so freaking hot. So yeah, so for hot, because if it's hot, it has that like Black Phantom vibe, which is very winter appropriate. But it's also at the same time, it has that fruitiness. So it's not exactly for winter. It's not exactly for summer. I think it's going to be somewhere in between. And where I live, it's like 9 months in a year, it's summer. And then like 3 months of winter / fall. Okay. Number 10, the perfume that I decluttered is Kenzo Flower Elixir. I love that perfume so much, but the bottle, let's talk about the bottle, is so long. It doesn't even fit in my cabinet. I have to let it slide in, so that kind of annoys me. And number 2, it has a little bit of a cough syrup vibe, a little bit, but it quickly dry down to this beautiful like raspberry, toffee, caramel, rose type of scent. And the raspberry is present in my Frederic Malle lipstick rose. So I think they both have similar vibe. I much prefer lipstick rose, and because of that I decluttered the Kenzo Flower Elixir, even though I adore it. And that one, the dry down has this like a little bit synthetic sweetness. The synthetic sweetness come from that like powdery, I don't know, it's really hard to describe. It has the synthetic syrupy powderiness in the dry down. I adore it. If you like that scent and if you think that that's a little bit too synthetic, try Frederic Malle Lipstick Rose. So that is the more niche, more mature, less sweet version of Kenzo Flower Elixir, in my opinion. Number 11, the perfume that I declutter is Kenzo World Power. I think I mentioned this in the video before. I don't like it because it smells like a basic salty vanilla, just like Paco Rabanne Olympia, but remove all the floral, so it has that like salt, vanilla, and a little bit of sharpness. And on top of that, they also added cypress note, and cypress is a little bit scratchy, a little bit green. It's a little bit masculine, unisex leaning, so it's like woodier, scratchier version. Like think of blackcurrant, think of patchouli. So it's like Olympia salt and vanilla minus the floral, and add that cypress. So it turns out I don't really like cypress. It has that like, you know, I don't know, like a Christmas tree type of note, but not really. It's leaning more towards like blackcurrant scratchiness and patchouli like. But some patchouli, there's different version of patchouli, but it's like leaning, it's closer to one type of patchouli. All right, so last but not least, the perfume that I decluttered is Ragba Latava. It's just a no-go. It's a little bit too beast mode, too chemically synthetic for me. I don't know. That one's beast mode. It's too much for me. But if you're curious what it smells like a very sweet vanilla oud with the strong tobacco incensey smell. So think of like Serjoff Bouquet Ideal, like, you know, tobacco with vanilla, but make it beast mode, make it super chemically. It's like an atomic bomb. Yeah. So that's it, guys. Those are 12 perfumes that I declutter from my perfume collection recently. This is a cumulative declutter. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.